up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel and I am the co-founder of Flourish Lashes. If you guys are looking for some tips on placement, if you are struggling with actually placing your lashes, trust me, you do not want to miss these tips. Okay, so I'm about to give you guys some tips on something you may or may not have known before, but did you know that placing classic lashes and placing classic lashes and placing volume lashes should technically be placed a little bit differently? Why? Because it will help your retention a lot. You want to know these tips because I promise you this is something you are going to want to lash with in mind from now on. Okay, first things first, let's get into classic lashes versus volume lashes. So a classic lash is always going to be a 1-to-1, one natural lash, one extension. One extension is going to have one hair. That is it. 1-to-1 ratio. We get it. That's a classic lash. Then your volume lash is always going to be a fan. So your fan could be made up of 2 all the way up to 10D. 10D meaning, or 2D, 3D, any kind of D. Dimension meaning the amount of hairs in each fan. So it could have anywhere between 2 all the way up to 10, even more sometimes. Then you get into mega volumes, but you guys get the point. Okay, so we all know that there is a difference with the classics and the volumes based on the look of the lashes, what kind of style you're trying to achieve, but let's get into why the placement is actually different. So let's start with your classic lash. A classic lash, because it's a single lash, is gonna have a lot more base, meaning the actual surface of the base can attach to a larger surface of the natural lash. Because it's one straight hair, you don't necessarily need to cap off how far up you can go with the natural lash on the classic extension, because it is one full tapered natural lash or one full tapered extension. So you could have the actual natural lash bond from the very base all the way up to the very top of the extension, which probably isn't going to happen because it's going to be a bit longer. Or you could have it attached from the base, probably around 3/4 is where the safe spot would be, and you're going to get a great retention, you're going to get a great bond, and that lash is going to hold on exactly how you need it to. Okay, and then why it's different is gonna be really for your volume lashes. So because your volume lashes are always gonna be fans, that means that you're always gonna look for a tapered base. All of your fans or all of your natural lashes in your fan are gonna come together at the base of the fan. So this is where it gets tricky in terms of placement. When you are placing a classic lash, you can place it directly from the base all the way up, but when you are placing a volume lash, the only bonding surface you actually have is the width of the actual base. So whether that base is short or long, that is going to determine how much bonding surface you have for your natural lash. So this is why it matters how you're placing your volume lashes. And then it goes into my next point, which is what type of volume lashes you're actually applying to the natural lash. Okay, so when you have your volume lashes, you could either have wide fans or narrow fans. The difference between your wide fans and your narrow fans for this specific topic is going to be the stem, so the base/stem. So that's going to be the length of the base that you're creating with your fan. If you're creating a wider fan, you're going to have a smaller base. That's because your fan is blooming out a lot more, which means that the base is going to be a lot shorter, a lot smaller, and you're going to have less bonding surface. Now, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just something to keep in mind, and just understand when you are placing your lash that the base of that fan matters that much more, because that's the only bonding surface you have to the natural lash. Then when you're looking at your narrow fans are going to have a larger stem or a longer stem. So that's going to be a bit easier, not necessarily in terms of how you place the lash, but yes, also how you place the lash. But it's also going to be a lot easier to get better retention because you have a longer stem, which means you'll have longer bonding surface where your natural lash can hold on to that lash potentially for a longer period of time, as long as you use the right amount of adhesive. Okay, so that just means that you really need to focus on the bases of your lashes, regardless if it's a classic lash or a volume fan. You just need to focus on the base of a volume fan a little bit more than you would for a classic lash. Now, that doesn't mean you don't do that for a classic lash, because I notice a lot of people actually look at the middle of the classic lash and then they apply that way, and I can see that because the base is actually lifted and there's a gap between the actual base and the natural lash. So always look at the bases. Just know that you have a lot more bonding surface for the classic lash than you do necessarily for a volume lash. If you guys liked any of the products in this video, everything is Flourish Lashes. So you guys can go ahead and visit our site right in the description, www.flourishlashes.com, and get anything that you saw in the video. Okay guys, that is it for this video. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that you guys learned something, and I hope that you guys can take this into your next set. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will be back with something new next time. Bye.